Hey everybody, it's a Common Comic Covers Frank Miller one shot, an appreciation
Nice.
podcast for non-key comics. And this is just a special episode. There's a lot of talk out there, Andy, on Frank Miller. You love him, you hate him, but
Yep.
there was a time where Frank Miller could do no wrong. What I'm talking about is the 1980s. He owned
Yeah.
comic books in the 1980s. So
Yeah.
Andy has his top 10, and these are top 10 our personal favorites
Yeah.
um, that we own in our collection, and then I have my top 10. I'm sure we've doubled up somewhere along the way, but Andy, kick
Probably.
us off with your Frank Miller. I mean, these
Yeah.
might be key, these might be common, doesn't matter. They're Frank Miller.
I have a friend who he did tangentially work with Frank Miller when he was at Dark Horse. I should have anyways, he's a pretty cool guy.
That's awesome.
Um but he was a rock star.
Andy,
So
speaking of friends,
I have some. You
well,
do. Yep.
and please subscribe
Oh,
to our YouTube channel here, and you can
yeah.
also find us on Spotify.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
true. Good job.
and back
Okay.
to you, Andy.
All right. So my first Frank Miller cover, I'm
Oh,
doing it
so
chronologically.
good, so good.
Yeah, it's Daredevil 160. Um, I I was going through it. I'm like,
That's when he was just draw. He was just the artist on Daredevil, right there, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
This
sorry.
is third issue he's done. And this is of September of 79. This came out. It's Frank Miller, Klaus Janson cover. I don't think Klaus Janson gets enough credit, but um, it's great. This is the Black Widow. The Daredevil's, got a cord wrapped around her neck from a hair dryer. My mom had the same hair dryer. I think we also have the same hair dryer. Hair
Yeah,
dryers are the
yeah.
same.
I've broken that hair dryer before.
Broken that hair dryer.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can if you put your hand or something up against the
The intake.
intake. Yeah,
Mm,
you blow the engine apparently.
nice. Yes.
Huh.
Great cover. And I was going through the whole series and like a lot of these, I love people that are miniaturized. And so like it's not miniaturized people, but like the Daredevil's face is way big in the background, so it kind of has that vibe. Anyways, what's your
Well,
first?
Andy, I'm gonna since this is special,
Yeah.
um, and maybe people, I think our listeners know who Frank Miller is, but I'm gonna read some good stuff here from
Okay.
one of our favorite books that we've come across. Comics Between the Panels came out in the '90s. Here's how he starts with Frank Miller. I'll read just a little bit here for to start with. I love
Cool.
this. So referring to Frank Miller, he was reading Mickey Spillane. Mickey Spillane is a pulp writer, a writer of a crime novelist from the
Okay.
50s, 60s, 70s. Anyway, he was reading Mickey Spillane when he was 13, and when he visited New York City for the first time in 1975 at the age of 13, Frank Miller came looking for Spillane, anxious to find his sin-scarred city, his heroes and villains, his blacks and whites. I arrived in New York with a bunch of sample drawings of crime stories with these guys in trench coats with guns, Miller said years later, and I was very quickly informed that the only thing anyone published was superheroes.
Mm.
I can read more later, but my first one, this is from 1980. This is Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, number 100.
Oh, nice.
This is the first appearance of a mutant Karma, but I just like it. It's Frank Miller. We have
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic. We have the Fantastic Four, all of them, and Spider Man. They're teaming up, but Spider Man's kicking Thing in the face.
I
So
wonder
I
if this
don't
is
think this is a friendly team up. But what I love, what I like about Frank Miller is that even it just you could tell the content is not cheesy.
Hmm.
Um, you look at this and normally it's this is 1980, the Fantastic Four, but just looking at it, you just know there's the shadowing that he does, the just the way he lays it out in his pencils.
Hmm.
With this one, you don't even notice Spider-Man unless you really just kind of sit and stare at it. Your eyes drawn to like the middle of whatever this is right here. And
Yeah.
then, Spider-Man just above the barcode there. But
Yeah.
beautiful book from 1980. Wonderful Frank Miller cover.
Yeah.
And Klaus Janson, they teamed up a ton.
Yeah. 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 I don't think I actually just found that book in the collection and I was like,
This
oh, this is
one?
a Frank Miller cover. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's not like a
It's a minor key.
well, it doesn't scream out Claus Janson either or Frank Miller. But I was just thinking about it today. It's like I don't think he ever drew Spider-Man, but he clearly did draw Spider-Man at least once. Um this is Daredevil 163, and this is one of my favorite ones because he's fighting the Hulk.
Oh, this is one of the
It's
best.
just like
Yeah,
bleeding
yeah,
severely. You just the giant green arm and then the shadow. It was so cool.
yeah. I mean, we're
Um,
gonna get real nerdy here, but to me, that's like a camera shot in a movie.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
And I bought this on eBay. It's a PGX graded slab. I I I think I paid $40 for it. So it's a 7.5. It is not a 7.5. I don't know
It's
what but it's I don't know. I was going through a kick, 2018 of just like trying to pick up this run, the
yeah,
all my filling all my holes
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, I have more Daredevil, like just a run of it. And
Well,
then I go into other areas. But yeah.
I'm gonna jump on your Daredevil train right now.
Yeah, right on.
One of my favorites, Daredevil 164 from 1980.
Oh, yeah.
That's his dad, Jack Monroe. Here's what I love about this book. It's Frank Miller on pencils, and on inks is Wally Wood.
Hmm.
I mean, this has to be
Okay.
one of his later things, but you have Daredevil right here in the middle of the boxing ring, holding his dad, Jack Monroe. Looks like he's got a bullet wound to the chest there. He's bleeding out
Yeah.
of his chest. But
Hmm.
again, just you have that Frank Miller content where it all makes sense. Um, a lot of these writers nowadays, I think, are finding this too, is where they're writers and they have a story to tell. And with a guy like Frank Miller, I think he was one of the first to be like, I could write this in a crime novel, or I can use these established uh, characters in tights, and I'll do it that way.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. I mean, you just pull right. You changed
Yep.
Daredevil into just a guy, a lawyer or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The story doesn't change a ton. I mean, obviously there's some things in there that he uses, but um, he would have told that story one way or the other. But I'm glad that he chose comic books to do that.
Yeah,
Okay, I
definitely.
like this. We haven't doubled up yet.
No. So
So,
this is my first not minor key. This is the first appearance of Elektra,
mm,
Daredevil 168. His first
yeah,
time. He is now the full-time writer
yep,
on
yep.
Daredevil. This is January of 81 it came out. And I really love this cover. It's a really cool cover with Elektra in the background, in shadowed with lightning and yeah, it's just cool.
I mean, can you imagine? Like, this is not his first comic book writing wise. Maybe it is, but like to have one of your first, if not your first, be like the first appearance of Elektra, and like
Yeah.
what a way just to jump on the scene.
Well, I mean, if you're given the reins to a comic book, I'm sure he had all sorts of stuff he couldn't wait to tell. And once they let him, he's like, okay, this is a new character. This
Yep.
is my female lead. Um, but yeah, it's cool. I'm happy to um have a copy of it. It's kind of an expensive book. The rest of the run in mid to low grade is very cheap to get.
There's only a couple that are really. Um, I have that book. Mine's pretty beat, but
Yeah. This is a
I love
solid
it.
mid grade book. Um
Hey, on that note,
yeah.
since we've been talking Daredevil here, so 1979 is when I'm reading from the between the panel here. 1979, Miller got his first shot at a regular series with Daredevil, and you were alluding to this, a second tier Marvel book. Almost immediately, he tried to give the art a film noir edge. He was still reading Spillane and Jim Thompson, studying Bernie Craigstein and Will Eisner, and planning crime comics that became my dream project, Miller said, but I wasn't good enough and the market was resistant to anything outside of the mainstream. When Miller introduced the character of Elektra, an idea he admits borrowing from Eisner in the first story he plotted, Daredevil 168, the
Yeah,
market quit resisting. His writing and panel design turned Daredevil into Marvel's best comic for the next 2 years. His storytelling perhaps peaked in the 7-issue run, Daredevil 227 to 233 in 1986. So
that's brutal. That's a brutal the uh Born Again
it's
run. That's really rough.
you didn't like it.
No, I not that I didn't like it, it was just really hard. Like
It's
it
dark.
really, yeah, it's really dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does not hold back. All right, all right. I'm going to go with my next one, Andy.
Yes.
This is from 1980 still. Captain America 241. Apologize, there's a sticker on the plastic here. This is a iconic cover with the Punisher.
Yeah.
You got New York in the background. Looks like they're on a rooftop. So the skyline in the background at their feet there. The Punisher's got a gun held to Cap's chest. You've seen this before. Beautiful Miller, classic Miller. Love this
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah, yeah,
Love that
yeah.
he went over to Captain America. Okay. I don't know what number we're on, but my stack is still thick. So
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna say this about everyone. This is my favorite cover. But I love this
oh,
Bold
it's
Bag
so
one.
good.
It's so good. This is from March of '81. This is the next issue.
Yeah.
Miller Jansen cover. The Bullseye is such a cool villain. Um, I really like him, and it's such a cool. Yeah. Anyways, I don't have much to
It's a
say
great
about.
layout. You got what? You got Bullseye. Is that a big spotlight, right?
Yeah, and he's it's a big spotlight, and there's just all the people, all the daredevils he's killed. It's just people. He
Laying
just
all
sees
over the
everybody
place.
as a daredevil in the red
Yeah.
costume,
Yeah.
but they're women. It's just pedestrians that he's murdered
Yeah.
because he's a cuckoo. Which made me think of Belle and Sebastian. He's a cuckoo. So
That's our next podcast.
the Belle and Sebastian.
Comment the Bell and Sebastian playlist. All right.
Uh,
Hey, I'm going to take us way out of Daredevil.
nice.
This is going to be 1981. So I'm out of the 80s. Now I'm into 81. Really cool cover. Power Man and Iron Fist, number 67.
That's a cool
And
one.
what I think is kind of cool of this is Miller pulls from something that's classic in literature, is using a character to be a Christ-like figure. That's very common in all literature. And if you notice, Luke Cage is
Oh, he's
um,
on a cross. He's
he's
on a
on
crucifix.
yeah
Okay,
he's kind of on a cross there, on a crucifix there, and
that's cool.
Iron Fist is getting ready to bust out. So again, we just see Miller taking comic books to the next level. This is when he's writing comic books for, these are not for 7-year-olds. And a great storyline. This is the Mary Jo Duffy run. And he actually did quite a few Power Man and Iron Fists in this run. So iconic cover in my opinion, just because
Yeah,
you have that crucifix. Reminds me of that. There's that Green Lantern in the original Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams run where
yeah.
he's not on a cross per se. I mean, it looks like it's the side of a building or something, but um, he's up there in the shape of a cross.
And you said that's 81. He did that.
This is 1981. Yeah.
So he was full time on Daredevil, but
Yep.
Daredevil was only bi-monthly still. So
So he was doing a lot in between. He was
yeah,
busy.
yeah, no,
Well, and I know he would spend originally like weeks on a page or a panel.
mm,
He was just so meticulous that I think it became harder and harder for him to
yeah.
get things going. So, all right, what's your next one? This is good.
Just the next one in the run. This is a 170, and I love how it's giant
Mm.
Kingpin and miniature Daredevil, and it's such a great. Okay, you're the next. That's your next one too. Yeah, it's such
No,
a
but
cool.
I'm just showing mine too.
Yeah.
Mine's a newsstand. There, that's the difference. And
Oh
Andy,
yeah.
is this the first Kingpin in the series?
Yes, I think so.
I think this is the Kingpin's first Daredevil appearance.
Yeah, because it was always a Spider-Man villain.
Spider-Man. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I love this book. I recently picked this up, um, and I was so excited. It's such a great book.
Yeah, that's great. And
Love
yours
it.
looks like it's in really good shape.
It's not. It's
No.
got like it's right there in the middle. It looks better on camera, but it's got a good gash there. But I paid $3 for this, I think.
That's great. Great deal.
Yeah. Okay. My next one, Captain America 255, the 40th anniversary special.
Ah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think this is a John Byrne does the story, but this is a Frank Miller cover. You got classic Cap and Bucky right there in the center, just iconic. And then it retells the origin of Cap. Oh, this is a John Romita as well. Frank Miller, John Romita cover.
That's crazy.
Great cover.
That's
Easy to find. If you find it, grab it.
yeah. Were you with me when I got that? Because I got that too, and I
I
think you were
think
with
so.
me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
You were like, "That's a Frank Miller cover." I was like, "Oh,
I
okay."
think you're right. I think you're right.
And this is the last my last
Oh,
Daredevil.
such a good one.
So this is from April
Yep.
of '82.
Yep. I love this
Uh,
one.
yeah, Frank Miller,
And
Klaus
it's got them all.
Janson.
It's got everyone on there.
Yeah, and they're miniature and a large Daredevil in the background. I just love that. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, and this is a high grade copy. I got this here, and then yeah, yeah, exciting. I love these covers and the run. I have the the trade paperback. The Daredevil
Hmm.
Visions
Hmm.
Volume
Yeah.
2. It has all the Frank Miller
Uh-huh.
run. That's
Hmm.
great. Yeah,
Yep. I have volume 1 and 2 of that. Not
I do
trying to one
too.
up you. I apologize. Well, I have 3 as well. No, I don't.
I don't have
Um,
three.
all right, keep it going. What if number 28? This is from 1981 still. What if Daredevil became an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Really
Oh,
cool
that's a
Frank Miller
cool.
cover.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yep. And that's Miller up on the top there. Again, a large Daredevil surrounded by miniature people.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a theme with Frank Miller. But no, it's Daredevil right there. And then some members of Hydra. Andy, I don't know who that is in the middle.
It's, Kung Fu Boy.
Some
I don't know.
one with a
I
yellow
don't know who it is either.
leotard,
So what
purple.
what if this person existed too?
Yeah, maybe I should read this. And look, I got this right there, $5 at Giant Nerd Books.
There you go. That's cool.
Love it. Okay, I'm down
Um,
to. I have 3 more.
really, I got four more.
Okay, cool.
Okay. This is Batman: The Dark
Oh,
Knight
we
Returns.
doubled up. We doubled up. That's why.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
This is
Good.
from March of '86. Uh, Frank Miller and Lynn Verley did this one, and it's a classic cover,
Well,
super
and you
classic.
see, like, there's how many comic books that have parodied that cover.
Oh, so many. Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right. I got
Mine's
to
not in
quote.
great shape, but I think it's the first print. So, but yeah, this is
I was.
their deluxe format where it's
Yeah.
larger.
Well, that
Yeah,
looks like
but
it's in better
mine
shape
has
than
that.
mine. Yeah.
So, but I love it.
Those are
This
great
is the
books.
this I think this is the first book I read where I got it. I think for
Yeah.
comic books where I was like, oh, like I always had comic books
Yeah.
and like enjoyed them, but mostly visually. This was like the first one I like the story really grabbed me. Um, and
That
it's embarrassing how old I was when that
no, I don't think that's embarrassing at all.
it was probably mid 90s
I
or
think you
early
have
90s.
to you have to read
Yeah.
a lot of comic books before you read Frank Miller.
Okay. Yeah.
That was probably the first Frank Miller book I read. I bought the trade of all
Hmm.
four of those,
Yeah.
and I just remember being so his layouts
Yeah.
were just so unique for me
Yeah,
that
that the newsroom layouts and how he
oh
tells
my
the story through the
gosh,
news, that was really
yes,
cool. And that
yes,
shows up in the
yes,
Daredevil stuff before, but
yeah.
it's really cool.
And for
Um,
me, it was like it was the first time I was seeing how it's so cool with how close he was with because he didn't do the art on those, correct? He just did the writing. I know
uh,
the covers. No, I'm thinking of
no, he
Batman.
did the
No,
no,
that's
he
him.
did the
That's him.
art.
Never mind. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
of
yeah.
year one. Sorry, Batman year one. He
Right.
doesn't. But how he told the story through the visual part as well, like that. Not kind of piggybacking on what you were saying. I was like, okay, I'm seeing how you can use pictures to tell a story. But yeah, it sounds kind of weird saying that. All right, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna go to one of your favorite characters.
Yeah, the Hulk.
Sweet, yeah, Dollar Bin comic here. Hulk 258.
Oh, cool.
Great covers. You got the
Man,
Soviet super soldiers on the cover there. Um,
I don't even know if I have
Al
that.
Milgrom is writing it.
Yeah.
I want to say it might be. I think it's a minor key, but really cool book. You have the Hulk is getting strong armed there by the Soviet super soldiers, and also he's getting a little drooled on. So he's
Bravo
getting,
for getting all this variety of Frank Miller too. I was like,
of
you're gonna need
course, it's me. I'm not just
it's
going to show a
great.
bunch of daredevils. I'm like, man, I got okay. I, I'm I don't
Uh,
want to speak too soon. My stack is still here, but
okay.
I wanted to try to show. Um,
Off the
and this
wall
one
ones.
is from
Yeah.
yeah. And I am not going to lie. Yeah, this is from 1981. I bought this because it was a dollar bin comic book and it was a Hulk and it was really cool. And then it was one of the ones where then when I got in the car, I'm like, oh, that's a Frank Miller book.
Did he do the interior on that one? Or is that just the
I
cover?
don't think so. I think Milgram probably did the interior,
Okay.
but I'm going to
I'll
check.
show my next one while you're looking.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was Dark Knight Returns number one, and this is number two. Um, there it is. Okay, doubled again.
I love this cover so much. You
Yeah.
go.
Frank Miller and Lynn Verley did it again. April of '86, and Batman's just filling up the whole page, the whole cover here. And I love the this is the aesthetic that he's really like leaned into, I feel like, as he's gotten older. Like I don't know if there's a straight line on here. It's just all squiggles. But I love it. I really like it.
It's so
And
cool. It's a great
yeah.
cover.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love just because he's like, I always just look at that like he's crammed into the cover.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's like it's a box closing on him.
Yeah. And they did like
Uh,
a
Andy, it's Bushima. Bushima does the interior.
oh
You need this book.
I might have it. I don't know. Is it Sal or
Yeah,
John?
Sal.
Sal. Okay.
It's yeah, 1980, 1981. It's a Bushima. Bill Mantlo. I mean, that's that run that you love.
Yeah, it is the line I love. Bill Mantlo. I love him. Um, yeah, they have like I think Frank Miller did an homage of himself, but with like the thing in this type of pose
Oh,
too.
that's cool.
I would like to get that. I've seen people wearing that shirt, and I'm like, oh, that's that's cool.
That's really
Um,
cool.
do you want to go again? Are you almost
Yeah,
done?
well, this is my last one. Yeah,
Okay.
because we've doubled up. So this is I'm still in 1981 here. No, it's 1982. Going back to Daredevil. Um, I just love this cover so much.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a great cover. My
So
cover,
simplistic. It's just Matt Murdock. I mean, is he in the snow? It's in the snow and
yeah.
it's super dirty, but he just says, "Stop it, please, stop it." He's going through it right here.
Yours
But
looks super
iconic
white.
cover, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yours looks really white, your cover. My
Uh,
cover is like yellow.
it looks less white in person.
Okay. All right. All right. That looks great on camera.
Oh, these
So I got
folks,
two more.
if you haven't read these Daredevils, not
Yeah.
only the art but the stories, um, if you have an if you have an opinion of Frank Miller's later stuff, that's fine. Go back and read his Daredevil and
Yeah.
his Batman stuff, and
Yeah.
it
If
is
people haven't
amazing.
read Dark Knight Returns, that's I would be surprised if they're watching our channel.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, what
But
do
yeah.
you have? Two more?
I got two more, yeah. So
Yeah.
I did the All-Star Batman and Robin. I know it wasn't really a
Okay. Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
special edition.
That's when it got the people started to turn on Frank.
Yeah, I like this
This
cover.
was
It's
these
pretty
were the
cool.
Jim Lee, Frank Miller, Jim Lee, right?
Yeah, Frank Miller,
Yeah.
Jim Lee, but Frank Miller just did the cover
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
And I was a huge fanboy of Frank Miller, and I decided I would just collect the All-Star Superman. Or yeah, and I did that, and I just didn't do this one. Then I heard people complaining, "Oh, the issues aren't coming out," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm getting mine, my All-Star Superman." Anyways, I only have the number one. I never collected any of the
Okay.
other ones. But
You can find them in dollar bins.
I need to go out into the wild. I was at
You
a
should. We need to go
oh,
hunting sometime
I
together.
do. I went to Dave and Buster's today. We had
We're getting
friends.
one of those in Spokane.
You have one of those?
But no, it's one's coming.
Oh,
They're building it.
great.
Maybe.
It's like the what's that the that it's like a
Is it
whatever
food? Food and video games?
food and video games. Yeah, but mostly
Okay.
it's like gambling video games for tickets. It's like a really weird, and then you can get anyways. It's a carnival. Anyways, I it's fine. But I forgot my point. But yes, Dave and Buster's. I went there today.
You're with some friends.
It was we had
That was your
a
point?
I don't remember what the point was now.
Okay.
But there was a
We were
the
talking about going in the
kids birthday
wild.
party. It
You,
was
you
kids
went out.
birthday
You went
party.
outside. You left the
I went
house.
outside. Yes, I left the house.
Yep.
It was kids birthday
Yep.
party.
Yep.
Anyways, so
COVID.
then I got this one. I got Detective Comics
Oh, that's cool.
1000. This is the Frank Miller uh cover
And
variant.
that's his Robin. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if you look at it, this is like seriously, this is the absolute Batman
Yep.
vibe
The
there.
logo. Yep.
Yeah.
When did this one come out?
This came out in March of 2019. It's a Frank Miller and Alex Sinclair cover. And the this is my second copy of Batman Detective Comics 1000 because they have a Bruce Timm cover too with the Joker on the cover.
Oh,
And I also have that one. So I've bought this cover, and this is a $10 book. So
I was
like
gonna
I
say
think I bought
it looks
$20 on this.
pretty thick.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Worth it.
Yeah. And it's called the 80s variant cover. The 80s variant. So like, you know, Frank Miller
Yeah,
80s comic books.
yeah, I love it.
Um, but yes, when I read Dark Knight Returns, I had like nostalgia of the 80s because I
Mhm,
remembered the 80s, but I wasn't in
mhm,
the 80s anymore. And so I
mhm,
had nostalgia of like, oh, I remember when gangs were a big deal and everyone was like
mhm,
super worried
mhm.
about the gangs. And I remember uh, you know,
Well, I remember how like I came across of a bunch of old drawings from when I was like in second and third and fourth grade,
oh, you did.
and it was always like tanks and
Yes.
airplanes on like there was a left side and a right side, and they were all driving towards each other.
Yeah.
And one side was the U.S.
Yeah.
and the other side USSR.
I always did Nazis because I could do a
Oh,
swastika easy.
so you always had them going against the Nazis. I always
Yeah.
had my tanks going up against the Russians.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, things have changed,
Uh, and have
or
stayed the
have they?
same.
Yeah, or have they?
Yeah.
Wow, Andy,
Uh,
that was fun.
yeah. Oh, you paused.
I actually really enjoyed. I liked. I know you paused.
Okay.
Move.
Now
Okay.
we're ready. Now
Yeah.
we're going.
Okay. We're
Yeah.
moving. I enjoyed going through like I just want to go and read Daredevil right now.
Yeah,
So good.
yeah.
If you just want to grab it, get Frank Miller Visionaries Volume 2 is when
Mhm.
it starts with his scripts. Volume 1, he'll have when he starts the art, which is great.
Yeah,
But I recommend jumping and getting Visionaries Volume 2 if you don't already have it. But yeah, like you said, if you're if you're listening to two middle-aged men talk about comic books, you've probably read that run.
yeah. And we are middle aged now. It's so weird to have be not young anymore. Like I
Yeah.
still think I'm
Yeah.
not an old
I
person.
I think I'm young until I stand up.
You don't hurt sitting down because I hurt sitting down too.
Well, I have a lot of cushions in this chair.
Oh, that's nice. I need to get some cushions for my chair.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
could really. Anyways,
Oh,
anyways,
buddy,
as
appreciate
Ringo
it.
Starr says, as Ringo Starr says, peace, love, and peace, love.